Thanks for coming out, guys, on this beautiful day. How many people know about me, my near-death experiences? We only have like an hour, so I'll just make it quick, and then I'll get into, say, any of the questions that you might have. Does that sound good? It's just an open forum. Okay? We can talk about any subject that you want, maybe any of the deep needed, and then also I'll pick up on what your group theme is as well, and kind of answer some of the silent questions that you guys might have. Anyway, just to give you a brief, I had 2 near-death experiences, and I turned from a computer programmer to what I call, I'm not exactly sure what I call myself. I used to use healer, transformational catalyst, success energizer, kind of made me sound like that rabbit. The closest thing now maybe is an oracle. Okay. And in the past, oracles, they used to say, back to your future, kind of saw, your history, and then foretold the future. Right? There's just one little caveat between what I do and an oracle does. I can actually edit your past, your present, and your future. Okay? I can bring in new realities for you, transform your life, or edit, delete contents for you, and that's how you shift. Because I look at things from a frequency level. So these are the main things, main themes that how my abilities work. It's really not about, I know a lot of you guys are in here for love and feeling good and so on. You know, it's really a fantastic byproduct of what I do, okay? But it's not really the end result. Okay? And most of us have been looking, feeling that space of love, or wanting to feel that space of love in this group. It's really not about that, and that's why you guys keep, searching. Because when you're in that space, you always have to, perpetuate or put fire, put wood in the fire all the time, right? You always have to, meet physical situations that always have to make you, happy or joyous or loving all the time, right? To get in that space. You can't create it internally yourself. So, and that's another thing in this group as well, as I just scan you. We're always searching outside of ourselves to make us feel happy, which is fantastic. But again, it never, perpetuates its own self. So what's that self-perpetual machine that we need? It's that coming into our internal self, complete, right? Generating our own resources, generating our own, energy, our own power. It's very beautiful that way. We're always in that love space, no matter what happens in our lives. Just like the earth, no matter what happens deep in the core, it's always constant, right? It doesn't transform, and give it time, it always recreates itself into a freshness. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? And again, it's self-perpetuating for you, so you don't have to go outside and get energized. Yes, you still do things outside, whether it's yoga, whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer, whether it's your specific religion, anything like that. That's all fantastic, but you start to see things from a higher perspective, a higher light, and actually that'll perpetuate you again, higher and higher and higher, rather than destroying you. Because you can use, religion, you can use yoga, you can use meditation, and you might still be, in the same hole or situation that you've been in. Right? So doing it from an inner purpose really, again, creates that fire deep within, and it's always there for you, always there for your use. Okay? Do you guys have any questions? There was one lady that asked me, yes?
We all have a soul. Everybody Christian way.
Mm-hmm.
How is the spirit part of that soul, or is the spirit by itself?
So did you guys hear that question? Oh, sorry, I forgot the mic part. So we all have a soul. Okay. Do you want to just say it again?
So if you're a Christian and you believe in God, you all believe that you have a soul. Okay, so the other part is how is the spirit, is there a spirit within us? Is that connected to the soul? And so when we pass our soul goals, where is the spirit? Or is the spirit always around us, or is it in us? And how is it connected?
By the way, guys, just before I answer that question, I'm not religious in any way. I believe in all religions. It doesn't really matter what religion you're in. Okay? All paths lead to, say, God, or I call it pure source. I use pure source just because God has been distorted, tainted by religion. Okay? Any religion. Even spirituality, it's been tainted as well. And that's why we're looking for a new paradigm in this group as well. You know, before religion, there was ways to connect, say, to pure source, right? And then religion got created. Now we're at a level where we went to, say, spirituality, you know, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on. Spirituality came in because religion got too distorted. Now spirituality, from what I'm seeing, and I travel the world, New York, London, wherever you might be, I always see that spirituality has turned into, say, another form of religion. Okay? So people are looking for, say, something beyond, something different than spirituality. So, and a new level or a new awakening is coming in, and that's why people like me are showing up to tell or show you the trueness of what's really out there this time around. So this time around actually there is a trueness coming through. Okay? And to get to your questions, the spirit, the soul, your body. Okay? From my understanding and my knowledge, it's downloaded, okay, from the database, the universal database, I call it. By the way, I'm a computer programmer, so I'll use computer terms. Okay? So it's a universal database, and all the knowledge, and that's why, say, people who get tapped in really resonate with me, and even if you don't, say, understand completely what I say, you might resonate with me because at a deeper level, you already know the answer anyway. I'm just helping you awaken. So for your spirit soul, I look at it as your spirit and then your physical form. Okay? Your soul is actually a translator. Okay? It helps us, say, get dumbed down to a level where we understand who we are. In the physical senses, we have our physical senses, right? The 5 senses, right? Your spirit does not have, say, those senses, right? So there has to be, say, a translator in between that does that for you, and vice versa. It translates the communication or the knowledge from one source to another for the spirit or body to understand. Okay? So I look at it as again, the soul as a translator unit. Sometimes that soul gets distorted, turns into a pain body of itself, and that's where we have the distortions. Sometimes the communication from spirit comes down into, say, physical form, and it's been distorted. So what the spirit is telling you, does not get communicated well into the physical form, and that's where we get the distortions. And then vice versa. The experiences that are that are there to help, say, expand the spirit, right? From the physical experiences here do not get translated because, again, there's filters, there's distortions, and that's what I do, is I awaken the spirit. How many in here, continuing on with this theme, how many in here believe that once you connect to spirit, like a lot of religions think, that your spirit is pure? You guys have been listening to me, haven't you? You're too smart. Yes, your spirit is not as pure as you think it is. It's been distorted. The life that you've created, most likely you would never create the life that you've created if you were truly awakened at a higher level. Okay? Most of that distortion, again, just like any of your habits here, did you guys actually think of all the habits or all the situations in your lifetime? Let's just do that. Where you went to school, where you were born, and so on. Did you guys make a conscious decision on that? In fact, who you actually married? Let's get to that. Or the job. Did you just fall into those situations, right? You didn't make a conscious effort. Or your future. Most people plan their 1-week vacation. They take more time planning their 1-week vacation than planning their future. So, again, most of us just fell into that. Most of us at spirit level, that spiritual cloth in religious terms, right? That you're cut out of. The spiritual cloth or the family cloth, basically. what you're caught out of, what mom had, what dad had, that was good enough for them. I'll take that on as well. It's easier, right? So we turn into, say, our moms or dads later on. And that's why that happens. You know, that's why we have the hereditary issues, things like that. If you're truly awakened, again, you would not say commit to that. Those individuals who are truly awakened and continue on with certain experiences, they actually enjoy the experiences that they have. So if you are born, say, with some debilitating physical issue, right, and you're truly awakened, then you would actually enjoy that experience. Okay? Again, most people aren't. People who are, this gets to another subject, I guess, just picking up on you guys. Let's just talk about wealth. There was a study done that people in poorer countries are happier. They cited some country, right? And they cited money as the issue. That's not true at all, guys. The reason why those poor people are happier is because they have nothing else to do. They're physically content. They're forced to be in their present moment. Okay? There is no TVs, there's no texting, there's no this, there's no that, there's no shopping, things like that. So what are they? They're in nature all the time, right? They're connected to themselves all the time, and then you're happier. It's got nothing to do with money. It's got nothing to do with your physicalness here, by the way. So again, those are some of the causes, by the way, that we have issues with. You know, you have, say, an experience, you connect it to a situation, and then you think that's the cause for the situation. In your life, that's what you've done. You know, certain situations have created certain, say, programs for you that you run thinking that that's the way life is. It's really not. You can create life in any way that you like. You can create it in as best situation as you like. Most of us actually don't choose that best situation. I hate to say it, and that's why we are where we are. Other questions? Yes?
Here, wait for the mic.
Yes, wait for the mic.
So when a person's life ends, what does the spirit body do between incarnations?
Between incarnations, what does
Yeah.
the spirit body do? It depends on how awakened you are as you go through into the next realm. That's why, you know, the Tibetans, the Egyptians, the Persians, and so on, they used to have, like, the Book of the Dead. They prepare the person before, and actually, I think most of them, they prepared after they died. In reality, and sometimes I do that for people, actually you prepare them before you die. Okay? That's why a lot of people who are, say, transitioning into death, they start going inwards on themselves even before they know they're dead or they're dying, right? If you're intuitive enough, no matter how old or young you are, sometimes you feel, say, connected enough to understand, so contemplate, kind of finalize your life here, and then go forward. So if you're truly awakened, what happens is there's different levels. Okay? You pass, say, the physical levelness of this area, and I'll explain that in just a second, and then you transform into that heavenly space. Okay? If you believe, how many people believe in hell? Good. If you truly believe in hell, okay, God or Pure Source loves you so much, it'll create hell for you. Okay? If you truly believe that you've been that bad and you need to go to hell, some people believe that. Again, you'll be created that heavenly space of hell for you. Okay? By the way, as Winston Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. Okay? Don't stop. For people who, say, get lost, let's say, purgatory, right? In Catholic or Christian religions, right? Purgatory, what happens? It is a space of never-ending time or distance at that level. People who commit suicide. That's why suicide, say, may be considered a sin. It's not really a sin. It's really off the mark. That's the original meaning of sin. What happens is that they are so distorted, they're so disconnected, that's why they commit suicide in the first place. They think that their issues are going to be gone after they die. In reality, their issues actually get harder. because there is no time, there's no distance. So what they get stuck in, say the distorted issues that they have, they're living that over and over and over and over again throughout time, okay? Forever, really, unless they awaken at some level. Again, I help individuals who have crossed over. So if you're going to commit suicide or anything like that, there might be one or two in here, I think, kind of thinking about that. Again, resolve your issues here first and then commit suicide. Chances are, chances are, once you resolve your issues and get really connected, you probably will feel the joy and you probably wouldn't commit suicide. But people on the other side, you know, just the religious side, some people think that they are so, say, sinful, right? You're born in sin, you live in sin, you die in sin. They don't meet their makers because, what? They're too sinful, they're not good enough to meet, right, that higher being. So what do? They slip into somebody else's body, the loved ones that they took care of, and then that loved one has issues. They start becoming that other person. So a lot of times, again, we just, depends on how high you go. The difference between, say, me and a lot of people who have near-death experiences, you know, there's 800 or so near-death experiences a year, just in the U.S. that are logged in. Okay? So what's the difference? Why aren't there more people like me? You know, people go through a tunnel, right? You've heard that they go through their life story and so on and so on. You know, you go through a tunnel. My second near-death experience, actually, I went through the tunnel, beyond the tunnel, and into this heavenly blue space. And in certain religions, there is this heavenly blue space. They talk about it. At that level, you're totally disconnected from physical form. You're totally disconnected from your physical identity. Okay? You truly know who you are. I was there. I don't know how long I was there, but it seemed like a lifetime because there is no time. There's no distance there. There's no physical body. You are totally complete at that realm. What I managed to do, since I was, say, groomed for having that second near-death experience, I came down and I'm still, say, connected to, say, that higher space, and that's how I help transform you. Okay?
End of that situation, like if someone does die consciously, when you talked about being unable to meet your maker, those of us we're going to hope might be in a position to meet our makers, what happens then in that kind of scenario? Do we have any kind of level of planning our next incarnation? Do we actually meet with the ascended masters?
Yeah. Yes. So the more awakened you are, what happens is that you do have, say, a level of understanding. Okay? But again, some of the habits, right, that we lived here kind of transcends there. So the higher you go into the levels, right, the more clear you are, the more freer you are to your original, say, source creation. Okay? And that's really the key. That's really why you're here, actually, as well. So again, really start to be awakened at this level, guys, so when you cross over. And this is actually what I do. So yes, the byproduct for you guys is, yes, you feel better physically, you know, or socially, you know, relationship-wise, you have more finances, things like that. So life is better here now for you, but it's really for the afterlife. So the next time you create, you're not creating with the distortions, the darkness, things like that from the previous lifetime. Because what's happening is this world does not need more darkness or transitions. It just can't exist. That darkness can't exist, as we say, transcend into the higher forms of energy or frequencies that you guys are all like feeling coming through, right, in waves. I don't know if you guys feel that, but the higher frequencies, there's higher frequencies coming in on a universal scale. Okay? The darkness, distortion, things like that just cannot exist at the level that it's at. So it's purifying itself. So it's really a great time to be alive, whether you're on this side or the other side. Yeah, that woman there. The one with the striped sweater? Yes. She's new. I'm trying to pick on new people, sorry. So.
Okay, you're talking about being enlightened, awakened, sorry.
Awakening, yes?
And that's, seems like this.
Can you talk into the mic?
Start. Okay, so how do you become awakened?
How do you become awakened? Your life experiences that you have, it is a program that runs for you. Everything that happens in your life is where you're exactly supposed to be, okay? It depends on if you choose to, say, awaken from that experience or then not awaken and recreate, okay? From like a default program, I call it. The best way to do that, with or without me, is to start coming into what you do physically, okay? Start coming into your body. For example, this morning when you guys took a shower, shaved, put on makeup or anything, were you guys actually there in your body in real time in the present moment? No. You're out somewhere else, right? Your physical form was there. So start coming in. Have you guys ever looked into the mirror, into the eyes that were staring back at you in the morning, right? The first time you do that, it's kind of a scary feeling. It's like, whoa, who the hell is that person? So all those things will allow you to connect into yourself at a deep level. It's really all you have to do. Even when you're texting, talking on the phone, driving, whatever it is, it's a fantastic way to, say, understand your body, okay? Get into your body. That's the one reason why you were here, created in the flesh. It's not really, doing something good for the world or anything like that. That's what most of us believe. It's not our acts of being good or doing good so we get into the heavenly space. That doesn't work out, guys. That's one thing I kind of ask about religion. But again, it's not the goodly deeds that you do, by the way. Again, I'm picking up individuals here. Because look at how many good people do you know live distorted lives, right? And they cross over and they're distorted. I see them distorted. So again, the importance is that you were here to really fully understand and enjoy your flesh. That's what spirit wants, okay? So allow that to be by being in the moment, being in the present moment. If you're washing dishes, notice your hands. If you're walking, notice your feet, right? Notice all the movements of your body. Don't be, say, outside of yourself. Come in. What I do for you, I just bring you into the present moment so strongly, it takes just less time. So whatever you can do or whatever I can do for you, I just do it faster. You can do it at the same pace. I mean at a much slower pace, that's all. Okay. By the way, guys, if you're feeling a little different, it's because I'm working on you. I'm generating those frequencies for you. Okay? So if you need to lay down, whatever, go ahead and lay down. Yes. You can. Do you want to just pick the people? Okay. Yes.
My thought is, I don't know if this is religion, but I just have a comment and for you to reclock me if I'm to open my mind up a little better. I believed that when you were conceived, I believed that your spirit was put into your body, and then when you were born, God put your soul in you to protect it from the demons. And so I'm wondering if my words are, I believe that, for instance, the more you lie, it kind of weakens your spirit, and the demons can get at your spirit and break that, and you can't protect your soul then if you don't have your spirit protecting it. So I am also asking, sometimes when I get funny or possessed in myself, I picture a sword or a gift from God, and I swish the demons away from me or other people, and then I feel better, and I feel more cleansed, that the goodness is energy is staying in me. If I take a sword or some gift, I ask, go in the realms for my third eye. I kind of close my eyes and I go level after level after level, and I ask for a treasure. And there's many times I'm driving or feel something kind of negative, and I just take some tool and I swish it around my family or me, even my dog. And then I feel a sense even off my cat when I do that. So what's going on there when I think like that?
So basically, from what I see, again, I'm not here to negate anything or tell you this is not true or that's not true. You can believe anything that you want. That's the beauty of free will, right? At a much higher level, you can create and believe anything that you want, and it will come true for you. Again, just like the hell example, for you, swishing the sword, knowing that, yes, you do have, say, certain abilities, and those abilities actually distort you because the abilities that you have, from what I'm seeing, actually come from a distorted individual up in your family lineage, okay? About 4 or 5 generations up. They had fantastic abilities that got distorted. What happens is once you sign those contracts, you know, selling your soul to the devil, basically, that's what it's about. You know, when you go up and go, you pray to God, right? God doesn't show up after a while. You pray to anybody, right? Because you want some changes in your life. So somebody does come in. They show you the light. They show you that whatever it is for you, you think that's God or a pure source. It's really not. It's just another source that comes into you. So in your lineage, that's what's happened for you, and that's why you're so distorted. And at your spirit level, you know that. So that's why you've kind of moved yourself aside from what I saw when I worked on you. And plus other things as well that we talked about. But anyway, once you bring your spirit into you completely, that's where, say, God really protects you. Because once your spirit is totally awakened, okay, connected to pure source, you really don't have to, say, protect yourself. They just honor you. Any demons, devils, whatever it is. Again, if you read the scriptures, it actually talks about that, where the devil is, whatever, honored, you know, Jesus and so on, right? So again, that's the truer way to protect yourself. That's the way I protect myself. I just resonate at a higher level or connect to pure source at such a strong level. And all you have to do is just keep asking, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? And that's really one of the best ways to protect yourself. And that'll come into you all the time rather than always, lifetime after lifetime. That's what you've done. That's what your family has done. The other way of God putting your spirit inside your body, right, to protect us before you're born. Yeah.
Your soul comes down because God doesn't want to put your soul while you're in your mom's stomach because the demons can get it. You need your spirit first to cage that soul.
Right. Yeah, I don't know where that story comes from. It sounds really far-fetched to me because, you know, if you're at spirit level, you can bypass your physical form anyway, right? So it really doesn't hold a lot of water for me. The way I see it, actually, your spirit is actually around you, about arm's length. If people who've done meditations with me, do you guys feel like you're more expansive, you're a lot taller and so on? You're starting to see yourself from your spiritual body. Okay? That's what that's about. So your spiritual body, again, is like, well, arm's length all the way around. That's why you feel 8, 9 feet tall. The body that you see, again, in some religions, the Holy Ghost that they call, is really your body that they're talking about. Your spirit creates the form, the body that we see now. Our bodies are not, say, physical. They're not really here. Just like anything else, just like the room, anything else is created of frequencies that can be edited, changed, things like that, okay? Your body, since it's not completely there, it's made out of frequencies. It's really a combined group space concept, okay? That's why things look similar, okay, in group concepts. It's a group, say, dream, if you will. Does that make sense to you? Or it's a little... Yeah, good. So what happens, and this is why I say I can change, yes, yeah, and that's why I can say help you change. So what happens is when your spirit starts creating the density of your body, right, at a higher level, that connection, okay, that translator piece, your soul, okay, once that is a clear communicator between the two, you stand strong. You get connected to the abundance that you naturally are in no matter what situation, you know, for you, like relationships, finances, whatever it might be, start coming into you because that's your natural balance because you feel whole or complete. Okay? There was another piece of that question that I wanted to talk about. Oh, just to give you an example, and I'm sure people who've been with me have heard this, but there are a lot of new people. You know, back in the 1970s, they did this study on a person who had multiple personalities. Okay? Just to give you an example of, say, our body is not as, say, solid as we think it is. In one personality, and this is documented, you can Google it, In one personality, the guy had diabetes. Right? He had all the situations, failing kidneys, errant sugar levels, things like that. All the classic cases of diabetes. Okay? He switches over, just like that, into, say, the next personality, and that personality does not have diabetes. He does not want to experience, say, diabetes. They do the physical tests on him. There's no sign of kidney failure. There's no sign of any blood sugar level issues, anything like that. So again, that's how your body, say, transforms. Now that gentleman, that multiple personality, they have fantastic abilities to switch like that, but that's basically what I do in a simpler sense for you. I switch those frequencies that generate your body at a much slower level. If I can get to that level, that'd be fantastic without distorting. They get distorted by it, but that's basically what I do for you. And again, it really resonates with what you hear in any religious text. The mountains, the earth, whatever, can disappear in a blink of an eye, right? You've all heard that in religion. The reason being is because it's all created of frequencies, okay? So you change your frequency, you change your life. That beautiful young lady right there, with the white hair.
How can you tell if you're distorted?
How can I
How can I tell? if
How
I'm
can you
distorted?
tell? How can you tell if you're distorted? How's your life? There you go. Next question. No, if there's another question, I can actually see you. I mean, I can see. Yes, people go. People actually come to me and they go, Moss, my back hurts and so on and so on. Actually, there was a couple of people here. But then the way I see you is really the way I don't see your physical form. Okay, I see the frequencies that generate your physical form, really, on the back end. Okay, again, just like a programmer. Have you guys ever seen on like Google or Chrome, anything, not on Google, but on Chrome or any like internet navigator, right? View source, right? The back end of what makes that page look pretty. Okay, I basically view the frequencies that generate you. So when I see certain areas, like for example, heart issues, things like that, there's certain frequencies that get generated for you that are distorted, that isn't you, and they're highlighted for me, and that's why I can tell. Right? For you, you kind of have hardening of the arteries somewhat, seems like. Your heart issues, things like that, are kind of like really stiff in your chest area. Does that make sense? No, for the lady there. I kind of see that. Or was it your grandma or grandmother? Yeah. So you're kind of getting the same thing as you age. Okay? You don't have to have that. Okay? In fact, your grandma or grandma kind of like lays in this area as well. So I can help you, say, disconnect from that. Those are all, the layers or frequencies that aren't part of you, and that's why I can see that for you. Okay? Again, I can go back in time for you. I can people, again, they come to me, they have a backache, and I go, well, let's talk about whatever happened to you at the age of whatever. Okay? When you delete, say, those time frames for you, and then since nothing's really written in stone, it's really dynamic. Time frames are dynamic, by the way, guys. When you delete something, say that happened in your early childhood, okay, like I do for you, what happens? The present moment, the way you understand things, gets changed for you. And then you have different opportunities that open up because you're seeing things from a different perspective. Okay? And that's why those, say, future opportunities, realities are more open to you. And it's been scientifically proven, actually, on what I do out in California, on a guy that studies, people like me. So that's what I do, is, again, delete your past. Say you had some trauma in this lifetime or previous lifetimes. Because of that deletion, you can't see it you can't see your present moment the way you do, right? Although you might have, say, memories of what happened Again, this was what happens to people that I've worked on. You don't see that hurt, that pain, that distortion from the same, say, space. And then amazing new opportunities open up to you, although you're in the same environment. Okay? So that's what happens. That's what changes for you. Yes, back there.
I've worked with you quite a bit, and I've made a ton of changes, but now I feel like I'm overwhelmed. Is it from making so many changes too fast, or am I don't know. I'm stuck right now.
Yes, it's because you're actually going into a next level. Okay, you actually haven't really, say, started your life, say, path or goal. Okay, what you've done, and you've actually done it, say, a little slower, although at a fast pace than, say, most people. Some people actually transform, say, almost immediately or in a very short while. About, say, 40%. People transform almost right away. Some people, some of us, like yourself, hon, tend to hold on to things for a little longer, over and over. Does that make sense? So it takes a little longer. It's really up to your rule set on why that changes for you. But again, as you, say, get comfortable, right, get successful, you get, say, transitioned into another level where you're just starting out, and that's what's happening for you. Okay? And that's why you might feel overwhelmed and so on. But as you learn more and more, okay, now that you're on, say, the right track, as you learn more and more, you'll get more comfortable. And then you'll go to a next level, and then you'll feel that. The next time, though, you get to that next level for you, okay, you won't feel that overwhelming feeling because that's the rule set on how you transform. That's just the way you are. You get overwhelmed before you shift.
So how can I help myself right now?
Right now? By, again, being in your body complete. When I see you, you're always, say, outside of your head. You're too much into your head, but you're not really into your head. You're actually outside of your head, always thinking of what's out there, not what's in here. So just bring yourself back in, and you'll actually see a big shift.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. One thing, guys, I have a meeting right after this, so I won't be, say, working on people. So usually I do, okay? I just have to get to it right away. So, so that's why we have that sign-up sheet as well. Other questions? Who should we pick on? You can pick on. You look new. And then we'll go to this side. Okay? Yes?
One of my largest concerns is our planet Earth
Mm-hmm.
and the treatment of animals, all of the factory farming and the deforestation and
Yes.
just, you know, all of the big corporations and our politics. And how can I, as a layperson, make the biggest difference? I feel very called to it.
Okay. You know, it's really, it is sad, you know, the way the planet's going through, the distortions, the animal, or even worse, the humans, you know, the way humans, people treat each other. Those things, if you really think about it, you know, yes, there's a lot of movements to, say, transform those, and why haven't they transformed? You know, why have, say, the cases of, say, breast cancer or any other type of cancer, you know, back in the early 60s, 70s, there was like maybe 3, right, out of 100 people that had breast cancer or something like that. Now it's like 1 out of 3, or 2 out of 3 have cancers. Although we throw billions of dollars, right, for that research. Although we've thrown billions of dollars cleaning up the earth, it really hasn't, say, transformed much. Why do those things happen? You know, at a deeper layer, it's because we want a cause, okay? You know, whenever, and this is kind of rudimentary, but this happens to a lot of people who turn into psychologists, and no offense against psychologists or psychotherapists or anybody that helps people out, but why do they, say, go into that field? Because they want to actually help themselves out first, right? So when people are, say, wanting to, say, help the planet Earth, help save the whales, help so on and so on, it's really, again, an internal dialogue that they want to complete, okay? And this has happened in the 20s. There was a lot of deforestation, a lot of water issues, and so on and so on. By the way, guys, those are all really a myth. Okay? Once we truly awaken, once we don't need, say, that need to help out, okay, at a higher level, okay? I'm not saying don't help out, but understand why you're helping out. Is it because you want to feel complete inside, or is it you're actually out there helping out? Okay? In some religions, when you donate, you make an anonymous donation just because, you know, it breaks you from that space. You don't get tax benefits and things like that. People donate because, oh, I'm going to get a tax benefit and all that. Again, that's a reason. You keep perpetuating that issue. Okay? The same thing with, you know, when I was a kid, we used to say, get donations for kids who were hungry in Ethiopia. You know, I almost saw the same banner, okay, almost with the same kid, really, you know, the same exact, and that was a long, long time ago. You know, why haven't we transformed? Again, because we need more issues. You know, if all the problems were solved here, what would you guys do? So you guys keep generating more and more problems, really, to solve, to be complete. So once you're complete in of it yourself, you don't search outside of yourself, right, to find that completeness. And then the earth, whatever it might be, has its own sustainability where it actually sustains itself. Okay? And that's true concern. You know, I don't know the organization, but I went out and helped people. There's a group that packs food for other countries, right? Yeah, Feed My Starving Children or something like that. You know, and I was looking at it, and I'm you know, business guy, and I'm looking, okay, this year they're packing, say, food for 20,000 people. You know, their goal was to pack food for 100,000 in 3 years or something. And I'm going, wow, that's really devastating. You know, that's a lot of money. You know, and you know, and what do? They get people in. The person feels good, right? To going in, helping people, and so on, and then they leave. But you know, to really help those individuals, you know, there should be, say, sustainable, like teach them actually how to fish. You know? So that's the way I look at it. The places people go to, my wife went to Haiti. They still don't have running water. They still don't have a lot of things, but they just go there just to help people out. It's more of a feel-good feel for them rather than actually the people that are there. You know, it's turned into, say, an industry, just like cancer. You know, what would all those people do if cancer was solved? There's billions and trillions, right? What would all those employees, what would all those scientists do? My God. You know, they're not going to just go home. Okay, it's like we found the cure. You can go home now. That's not going to happen. Yes, thank you. So, how are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? I hope I'm rattling some of your cages a little bit so you guys wake up. Hi.
Hi. Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but sometimes I have dreams that are really strange. And I don't know if I am asked questions to try to potentially agree to some contract, or what to do. And sometimes I tell myself once I wake up, I've got to try to train my brain to say, are you of a pure source?
There's lots of things on lucid dreaming where you can actually say control your dreams. I mean, there's lots of good information on the dreams. Have always been a mystery to me. Some people say that, you know, you go out of your spirit space, you know, out of your body and go to different realms, and people do that. Actually, I think that dreams, or why we sleep, kind of is really. Have you guys ever seen a movie strip? Every scene is just like one. So like every scene of your life would be one 24-hour segment or one little frame. So when we sleep, we get disconnected, and then that's created like a frame for you. So, and then it continues on, and that's how you create your life. So I see it more of a scientific point of perspective. And that's how you create, say, the movie of your life. So that's the way, why I see, say, sleep patterns or dreams. Not exactly sure what dreams are about. A lot of people have, when I work on them, or otherwise, people have a lot of, say, insight from dreams. So you might be coming into that for you. But for you, it's actually, from what I'm seeing, it's like you really want to live your own true life. You've always been living a little distorted, or a lot distorted. And it's nagging you to a higher level right now. So those dreams will probably get into nightmares to, again, wake you up.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So that woman right there, right behind her.
Hello, thank you. I live in a community that is poverty-stricken. There's a lot of drug abuse, 7 overdoses in 7 months. Our generation, there's going to be a generation lost. And I'm wondering about them souls that are not awakened.
Mm-hmm.
Is there hope? Is there like a clearing of the people who are lost? You know, is it going to go good, or it's either going to go good or bad? But how can I help? I'm one of them psychologist helpers.
Fantastic.
How can I help out and continue as well as protect myself? But I just see lost souls. They're walking around like zombies,
Yes.
and I want to help.
Yeah, I see a lot of those as well. For you particularly, there's a lot of things going on in your throat, this area. I don't know, is that correct? Or you got bit by a spider? A lot of things might actually happen to you there. It's almost like a void or a hole, and that's where, again, when you say protect yourself, that's how your clients, that's whoever just like gets absorbed. So while I'm answering your question, we'll like eliminate that and we'll see how you feel. Does that make sense? You probably breathe a lot better. So for those lost souls, yes, what happens is as the earth transitions, gets into, say, a higher and higher frequency, okay, the people who choose to move on, okay, people who are awakened, people who are self-contained will not get, say, absorbed by those frequencies, and they'll ascend higher. The people who are distorted get darker and so on. And I'll give you another example of this. They'll get darker and get blown further away. So you'll see a lot of, say, mass deaths no matter what situation you might find themselves. People who get, say, the lost souls, yes, they'll continue on the afterlife if they're truly lost, okay? But again, in religious standards, there's going to be a sense of awakening, whether you're lost, okay, here or on the spirit side, and then that's where they recalibrate themselves. So that's what happens to them. And to, say, magnify or give you an example, say there's these frequencies that are coming in, the universal patterns that are coming in to, say, purify the earth. They're at a magnitude of 100, okay? If you're resonating at a magnitude of 10, okay, you'll be multiplied by 1,000 times, right? Your, say, connection to pure source will get multiplied, right, to 1,000 times. If you're generating at like a 1 or, say, 0, that blank space, you'll get magnified by 100. Now, if you're in the dark space, say negative numbers, right, negative 10, you're magnified at a negative 1,000. Okay? So, so they get darker. The world gets darker and it gets lighter at the same time. It really, again, religious terms, in any religion, what do they say? Those who have shall get even more. Those who have not, even that will get taken from them. That's what they actually talk about. Again, it's just frequencies that come in. It's not about how good you are or whatever. It's just how awakened you are. Okay? So for you, though, for that group, well, we can talk that on a personal level. But any other questions? Yes. Can you wait for the mic, honey? Because they're recording this. So. Yeah.
With the accelerated frequencies coming in, I've had a lot of sinus congestion since March, and I can't seem to do anything to clear it up.
Are you sure that's just not the season?
No, I've never had it like this. And so I don't know if my body is just detoxing to adjust to the higher frequencies, or if there's something
I think you're
else.
just getting more sensitive. Your body seems like it is like releasing a lot of things, and that might be, you might be getting more sensitive to, you know, allergies and all that. I see it more of a physical stance for you. Your body's getting pure, but, you know, it's a lot of, say, junk in, a lot of toxins in your body that's releasing all at one time. That's making you, again, more susceptible. So it's more, yes, it's spiritual, but it's more physical as well.
So should I view it positively, as if my body is detoxing?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
be grateful?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. The woman next to, yeah, that one right there. Mm-hmm.
As I had seen you once before, and I remember in that experience I felt really light. And today I'm loving everything you're saying, but I just feel really heavy. And I'm just wondering if other people are experiencing that too, because I'm usually kind of more light. So
Yeah,
I'm
do you want to come up and I can work on you? We just got a few minutes left. Actually, I should have worked on people yes, people, and this is a great, say, opportunity. Even if I haven't worked on you, say, specifically, okay, doesn't matter. I can, say, help you, say, transform in any area of your life. And let me explain how that works. Is really, I'm not, say, the source that heals you or helps you in any way. I'm that anchor point. The same way I had that near-death experiences, I got connected to pure source at a much impactful level, okay? I am that anchor person or that guide that connects you to pure source and yourself. The journey is really yours, okay? Again, once I create that spark for you, you can never go back to it. So whether I touch you physically or just one-on-one, you know, I do a lot of remote sessions over the phone, it doesn't really matter. Since you're here, you've opened up to that pure source connection, okay? So you'll always get guided, again, with or without me. Again, I just do it faster for you. The reason why I say she's getting, say, dense is because you're actually opening up before, from what I'm seeing, and I don't remember, you know, what I worked on. But there's this layer in front of you, hon, that you've actually, say, like, removed, okay? You've, well, lived a facade just to protect yourself all your life. Does that make sense? Okay? So what's happening is, like, once you open that facade, you know, that mask that she's worn, actually not just a mask, but a whole full body mask, well, what happens? You know, you get more sensitive to things. So you're picking up, say, the heaviness of, say, all the people's issues that are actually getting released here, okay? The nice thing is you're protected, okay? The way, say, I help you open up, you're always protected. But when you're feeling things like that, you'll understand how the other side, the true side, works. Does that make sense? So it's actually a great place for you to, say, be here for. But let's just help you, say, bring your own sense in. And then your confidence, your abilities that you've never really shared with anybody will start coming, like, forward out of you. Does that ring true to you?
It does.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So, there you go. You're welcome, sweetie. Who have I not worked on before? Well, I'll let him choose him. You know, some women, they ask me, can I work on her? My husband's this, my husband's that. I go, sure. I actually work on them, and then they come back, and they go, gosh, my husband's changed. That one, yeah, that one.
Hi.
Hi.
This is my first time
Oh, do you wanna come up?
experiencing. What's that?
You can come, well, ask your question and then come up.
Okay. This is my first time hearing about you. I was invited today. I've really enjoyed the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, I had a lot of questions kind of around the same theme come through today.
Sure.
Wondering about the role of distortion, especially childhood experiences for people on a whole.
Yes.
Are they teachers? And what would you say are like the origins of judgment or distortions in our society? Is there a helpful role or a way that we can turn love toward them?
Yes, it depends on anything physical that happens for you. guys, it depends not on the physical situation. That's why you can't say one thing is good or one thing is bad, because there is no good or bad. If it helps you, say, go forward, then, well, it's an aid for you, right? Sometimes distortions, torment, abuse actually create a stronger individual, right? A lot of times in our society, I hate to say it, actually distorts people. So it really is a meaning for you. Most people use the distortion or control sources in our society, whether it's government systems or your own relationships, you know, your mother, your father, and then you get, say, stuck into, say, boyfriends that distort you like that as well. Does that make sense, son? Yeah. Okay. So that's what's happening for you, and then, you know, what do? We, well, you, say, specifically hold a lot of, say, tension and a lot of stories in this area. Mm-hmm. And you've actually created, say, another sense of yourself since you were like 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. And you've kept that child alive deep inside you, kind of safe in this area as well, like a maternal type feel. So you resonate or you run from, say, 2 different sources, which again distort you, because at 3 or 4, you're still, say, protecting that child, but you're not 3 or 4 anymore. And then that's where that, say, distortion comes from for you. Those frequencies, what happens again, since they're resonating inside you, you start, say, connecting with people that will keep distorting you in that manner. Okay? Say, like, if you think of the color blue, you'll start to see more blue, right? At a deep spiritual level, right? If you're resonating with the color of, say, abuse, what are you going to generate or connect with, right? Colors of abuse. So let's totally disconnect you from that. And by the way, I really, really say disconnect or delete. What most people do, say, in other modalities or, say, other self-help things that you've done, most of all is you've, say, created a workaround, okay, for that situation, or we've compressed it some level and then hide it, right? The way some animals bury their food and so on. It's still like spewing out distortions for you, and that's why you can't get rid of it. You know, this one woman I worked on, I go, oh, you've had, say, abuse issues with your mom. She goes, oh, no, I took care of that like 20 years ago. It's like, no, it's still there because I just see it perfectly for you. So, really. Let's just get rid of this individual. And by the way, as I'm working on her, I'm working on, say, the rest of you as well, just to release some, say, abuse or distortion issues. There we go. How are you feeling?
Great. I'm hearing lots of heavy, thick, kind of sharp things.
Releasing?
Yeah.
So again, protecting that child. The nice thing is you're going to reunite with that child, so you'll relive your experience as a young person again, although you're still young, but you're a young person, and then catch up. So you two will have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be an adventure.
Yeah. And then the right relationships, the right whatever start coming into you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're so welcome. Again, guys, we have to wrap up. Thanks for being here. Normally I would work on people, but again, I've got another meeting to go to. Some closing thoughts, guys. You are where you're supposed to be. Again, as he mentioned, God's perfect love. No matter what happens to you, okay? Don't think that you've been hated or God did this to you. God always loves you at its utmost, much more than what you'd ever think of, okay? He's always there for you, by the way. All you need to do is keep asking, all right? Now that you're more open to it, it'll come in better for you. And just notice what you notice. Okay. So thanks for being here, guys. Thank you.